Potomac star Wendy Osefo and her husband Eddie have been arrested for allegedly...
After she and her husband Eddie were arrested on insurance fraud charges.
Real Housewives of Potomac star Wendy Osefo and husband Eddie are arrested on fraud charges.
They looked untouchable. Dr. Wendy Osefo, a polished professor, political commentator, and one of the most articulate voices on the Real Housewives of Potomac. And her husband, Eddie, the picture of calm, class, and family devotion. Together, they were the kind of couple Bravo producers dream about. Educated, elegant, ambitious, and seemingly flawless. But beneath the glow of reality TV fame, something was quietly unraveling. On October 9th, 2025, the same couple that fans once celebrated for breaking stereotypes was suddenly all over headlines for something else entirely. Fraud, false statements, and a web of deception that no one saw coming. The arrests hit like a thunderclap. TMZ dropped the first hints, then Entertainment Weekly confirmed it. Both Wendy and Eddie had been booked on multiple charges, 7 felonies for her, 9 for him. Viewers who had watched them debate politics, raise kids, and celebrate family milestones on screen were now refreshing their feeds, trying to understand how the power couple of Potomac had fallen this far, this fast. In just one day, the Osefos' reputation flipped from role models to reality scandal. For years, Wendy built her identity on empowerment, an Ivy League scholar turned television personality, the voice of intelligence in a show known for chaos. Her husband was her steady anchor, quiet, loyal, and always there to defend her when the drama got heated. Fans loved that balance. They represented something rare in reality TV, dignity and success. So when news broke that police had accused them of faking a home burglary and filing false insurance claims for nearly $500,000, disbelief swept across social media. It wasn't just another housewives arrest. It felt personal. People asked, why them? How does a couple that already has everything, fame, money, education, respect, risk it all for luxury items and insurance money? That question would haunt the fan base for days, especially as more details trickled out. Investigators claimed they'd found receipts, store returns, and even photos that contradicted Wendy and Eddie's story. One of those photos allegedly showed Wendy wearing a diamond ring that had been reported stolen. Suddenly, the picture-perfect life they'd presented on TV didn't seem so perfect anymore. This wasn't just another celebrity scandal. It was a collapse of image, a reality check that blurred the line between performance and truth. And for millions of viewers, it marked the start of something much darker, the unraveling of the Osefo legacy. Because while most couples face challenges behind closed doors, Wendy and Eddie's drama was about to play out in the courtroom and under the world's spotlight. And as the news spread, one thing became clear. The empire they built on respect, intellect, and love might not survive what was coming next. It all started like a normal Thursday until it didn't. On October 9th, 2025, a quiet Maryland suburb turned into a media circus. Sirens, flashing lights, and whispers spread through the neighborhood as news broke that Real Housewives of Potomac star Dr. Wendy Osefo and her husband, Eddie, had been taken into custody. Police confirmed what fans could hardly believe. The couple had been arrested and booked on multiple counts, not just a few misdemeanors, but a mix of felony-level fraud and false statements. Wendy was hit with 16 charges, including 7 felonies. Eddie, 18 charges, 9 of them felonies. The reason? Investigators claimed that months earlier, the Osefos had filed a massive insurance claim worth nearly $500,000 after reporting a home burglary. They said luxury jewelry, designer clothing, and rare shoes had been stolen. On paper, it sounded like a clean-cut case, but detectives noticed something strange. Some of the stolen items were quietly returned to stores weeks after the claim was filed. And, in what would become the most infamous detail of the case, police alleged they found photos of Wendy wearing jewelry that had been supposedly taken in the burglary. That was the moment everything shifted. TMZ posted the first mugshots. Within minutes, the story spread across X, Reddit, and every Housewives fan page online. Comment sections exploded. Disbelief, memes, and conspiracy theories flooded the internet. One fan wrote, "Not Wendy, she was the only one who had her life together." Another said, "Is Bravo secretly filming a spin-off called Real Housewives Federal Edition?" Even for a franchise known for drama, this was different. This wasn't a feud over who said what at a dinner party. This was criminal. It shook the entire Bravo fandom. For years, Wendy had built her image as the level-headed, educated woman of the group, a professor, commentator, and mother of three. She wasn't supposed to be the one caught up in this kind of scandal. She was supposed to be the one above it. But the mugshots told a different story. They were calm, stoic, almost unbothered. Fans debated everything, from their body language to their possible motives. And when the couple was released on bail the next day, their legal team issued a polished statement saying Wendy and Eddie were home safely and grateful for the support of friends, fans, and colleagues. They insisted they were innocent and ready to clear their names in court. But the internet wasn't ready to forgive them so easily. Some believed them, pointing out that innocent until proven guilty still matters. Others were convinced the Osefos had joined the long list of Bravo stars caught up in financial scandals. And while the headlines focused on the charges, the fans focused on something deeper: the fall of credibility. Because if Wendy Osefo, the scholar, the professor, the strong voice of integrity on Real Housewives, could be accused of this, then maybe nobody in reality TV was as real as they seemed. Still, as dramatic as the arrest was, it was only the beginning. Behind those 16 and 18 counts lay a story of insurance claims, investigations, and clues that would make even a detective raise an eyebrow. And what those detectives uncovered next would change everything.
Every great fall begins with one bold move, and for the Osefos, investigators say that move started with a single claim. In February 2025, Wendy and Eddie reported a burglary at their Maryland home. They told authorities that thieves had broken in, ransacked the place, and escaped with over $450,000 worth of luxury goods: jewelry, handbags, designer clothing, and limited edition shoes. They even filed a detailed insurance report, complete with serial numbers, receipts, and a list that read like a fashion magazine cover shoot: Chanel, Rolex, Louis Vuitton, Balenciaga. Everything screamed sophistication, and everything, police say, was about to come under fire. The insurance company began its investigation, routine at first, until something didn't add up. Red flag number one: some of the stolen items were showing up online. According to reports, detectives found social media posts where Wendy appeared to be wearing the very same jewelry she claimed was gone. Red flag number two: store records allegedly showed several returns, expensive handbags and watches, processed after the burglary claim was filed. Red flag number three: when investigators cross-checked the claim's inventory with footage from the couple's own reality TV appearances, they reportedly spotted inconsistencies. Items that were supposed to be stolen had been seen on screen weeks later. Each piece of evidence painted a darker picture, not of a robbery, but of a plan. The state's attorney's office said the Osefos knowingly and willfully provided false information in an attempt to obtain payment, a textbook definition of insurance fraud. The allegations were explosive, that the burglary never happened, and that the Osefos tried to collect nearly $500,000 from a false report. But in the court of public opinion, the debate was just as fierce. Supporters claimed the couple was being targeted, victims of fame and envy.
Critics called it luxury desperation, saying the pressure to maintain a glamorous image on TV drove them to cross a line. And honestly, it's not hard to see why the theory caught fire. In the reality TV world, luxury isn't just lifestyle, it's branding. Every bag, every car, every diamond necklace is part of the image that keeps the cameras rolling and the contracts paying. But when that image becomes a financial trap, some start chasing illusions that money or even integrity can't sustain. As one legal analyst put it, the moment you start believing your on-screen persona more than your real life, reality TV stops being entertainment and becomes evidence. For investigators, the pieces were all there: a timeline that didn't match, luxury goods that reappeared, and a claim that looked more like fiction than fact. Still, despite the mountain of accusations, the Osefos maintained their innocence. Their attorney doubled down, calling the charges baseless and promising a full defense. They said the truth would come out, and when it did, it would shock everyone who ever doubted them. But as the case built momentum, fans noticed something else. Bravo was silent. No statements, no interviews, no updates. Behind the scenes, production insiders whispered that executives were in crisis mode, unsure whether to cut ties or turn the scandal into the next season's storyline. Either way, the reality world had found its new obsession. Because this wasn't just about stolen handbags or false claims anymore. It was about trust, fame, and how quickly both can crumble. And as prosecutors prepared for court, one question echoed across social media. Was this the biggest scandal in Housewives history, or the most misunderstood? The answer would depend on what came next, in court and in public. After the headlines exploded and social media turned into a battlefield, all eyes were on Wendy and Eddie. Would they break their silence? Would they fight back? Just a day after their release, a statement came through. Calm, polished, and calculated. Their rep said the couple was, quote, back home safely with their family and in good spirits. They thanked their fans for the outpouring of concern and support and made it clear that they were looking forward to their day in court. It was the kind of response that sounded confident, almost too confident. Behind those carefully chosen words, fans couldn't help but wonder, were Wendy and Eddie really as composed as they seemed? Because while their message was about family and faith, the internet was dissecting every word, every photo, every old clip from the Real Housewives of Potomac. Clips of Wendy flaunting luxury jewelry resurfaced online, pieces eerily similar to the ones she'd claimed were stolen. And that's when the narrative started to shift. Supporters defended her, saying this was just another case of the media tearing down a successful Black woman. Critics, however, saw it differently. They accused her of trying to play both the victim and the mastermind. Wendy herself stayed silent beyond the statement. Not a single Instagram post, not a single interview. And that silence only fueled the speculation. Was this a strategic move advised by her legal team, or the calm before a much bigger storm? Whatever the truth, one thing was certain. The Osefos weren't just fighting for their reputation anymore. They were fighting for their freedom. And the world was watching every move. But as the dust began to settle, something else started to emerge. The deeper questions about fame, power, and what people are willing to risk to protect their image. If the arrest shocked Bravo fans, the internet devoured it. Within hours of the news breaking, social media turned the Osefos' downfall into digital chaos. Twitter, or X, exploded with disbelief, memes, and savage one-liners. One viral tweet read, "Not Wendy giving lectures on integrity while allegedly finessing her insurance." Another said, "The Real Housewives of Potomac just became the real fraudsters of Maryland." The hashtags came next. Hashtag Fraud Wives of Potomac, hashtag Osefo Scandal, hashtag Bravo Behind Bars. Each one flooding timelines with clips, screenshots, and TikToks dissecting every angle of the story. Reddit wasn't far behind. Threads on r/popculturechat lit up with speculation. Users analyzed her old interviews, pointing out moments that aged like milk. One top comment read, The way she side-eyed everyone else's drama while allegedly committing felonies is just poetic. And TikTok, that's where the mayhem reached its peak. Creators stitched together clips of Wendy's lectures about accountability with mugshot overlays and dramatic background music. One edit showing her Bravo tagline, "Don't mess with my intelligence," cut straight to the headline, charged with 16 counts of fraud. It racked up over 5 million views within 24 hours. But it wasn't all mockery. Some fans expressed disbelief, calling it totally out of character. Others defended her, arguing the couple might be victims of a misunderstanding or even a setup. Still, the majority weren't buying it. The internet had already made up its mind, turning the scandal into entertainment before the truth even had a chance to breathe. Because in 2025, public opinion isn't decided in a courtroom. It's decided in the comments section. And for Wendy and Eddie, the verdict online was already clear. The fall from grace wasn't just a headline, it was a meme. After the storm, what's left for the Osefos? Right now, Wendy and Eddie are home, surrounded by family, lawyers, and silence. Their legal team says they're in good spirits and looking forward to their day in court. But behind that polished statement lies uncertainty and a long road ahead. Both are facing a combined total of over 30 criminal charges, including multiple felonies. If convicted, the penalties could reshape their lives completely, financially, professionally, and personally. Their future on The Real Housewives of Potomac is also hanging by a thread. Bravo has remained tight-lipped, but inside sources whisper that producers are watching closely, because this kind of scandal, while devastating, also brings record-breaking ratings. Some fans believe Wendy will use the platform to tell her side, to reclaim the narrative, and perhaps even spin the scandal into a redemption arc. Others think this is the end of her Bravo era entirely, a story that will fade from the show's script but never from public memory. Either way, the Osefos have entered a new phase, one where image control and courtroom strategy matter more than reality TV drama. Their reputation, once built on intellect, success, and family values, is now being rewritten by mugshots, memes, and media speculation. But maybe that's the cruel irony of fame in 2025. One moment you're the power couple everyone admires, the next you're a headline, dissected, judged, and turned into content. And while the world waits for the verdict, one question lingers in the air. Can Wendy and Eddie ever rebuild what they lost? Or has the spotlight that made them famous finally burned them out for good? Only time and the courtroom will tell. In the end, the story of Wendy and Eddie Osefo isn't just about a scandal. It's about the dangerous line between image and reality, and what happens when that line finally blurs beyond recognition. Because fame is a strange currency. It buys you power, influence, and luxury, but it also demands a toll. The world starts watching your every move, waiting for the moment you slip. And when you do, it doesn't offer mercy. It offers headlines. For Wendy, a woman who built her brand on intellect and authenticity, this fall feels heavier. She wasn't just a TV personality. She was a professor, a mother, a commentator, a symbol of success beyond the Bravo drama. And that's what makes the scandal sting deeper. It's not just about what allegedly happened, it's about how fast everything she represented unraveled. For Eddie, it's a story of loyalty and consequence. A husband, a father, and a man caught in a storm that turned their once perfect image into a cautionary tale. And as their case moves forward, the world will keep watching, not out of compassion, but curiosity. Because that's the real cost of reality fame. The moment your life becomes entertainment, your pain becomes someone else's content. The cameras have stopped rolling. But for Wendy and Eddie, the real reality show has just begun.